Here we are again. Okay, we've covered all the assessment items that we wanted to cover in our photography course, so using Photoshop for photographers. And now let's have a look at a couple of things that you might encounter in your normal course of events. So here I've put a couple of photographs in here that we'll work with. This is in your photos for fixing again, and here's one called Mountains. Oh, that's the PSD, sorry. I'll start off with this JPEG photo here, Mountains, and it's a kind of typical photograph of a subject heading up the track in the mountains there. But notice the sky is all kind of blown out. If I use my info panel here and run the cursor over here, you can see 255, 255, 255 is the reading for the RGB, and that's obviously totally blown out with the pixels. So what can we do about that? Let's see if we can make a selection here, and your tool panel may have the quick selection tool as the top tool here. I'm going to go for the one underneath the Magic Wand tool, and I'm going to set it to a tolerance of 32. That's probably going to be your default, and I'll just click in this sky area here, and it'll very quickly pick up all the pixels within a tolerance of 32 or 16 pixels either side of whichever pixel I clicked on. So it's going to be picking up all the pixels in that very light colored area. You can see it hasn't quite picked up the ones around the bit of blue sky that's poking through there. So I'll use my lasso tool to pick up the extra bits, and I need to hold down my shift key to add to the selection. So I'm just going to click and drag a marquee around there and pick up that bit. And now I need to zoom in a little bit. So I'm using my control and spacebar keys to zoom in, and I'm just looking for bits where I want to deselect. So to deselect now, if I hold down my Alt key, or it's the Option key on the Macintosh, then I can deselect areas here that will alter the selection I'm making here. So now I want to deselect this little bit here. So I'm just going over the image and finding things that are not quite right, and changing those things. I'm not going to be too critical here, because you can be a lot more critical when you come to do yours, but because I want to do this fairly quickly for the video, I'm switching, but I'm holding down my shift key now just to add to the selection here, and now I'll be deleting or I'll be removing this one. So I've got my Alt key held down on the PC, and again here the Alt key, and I'm just marking these areas to remove the selection. And a bit too much there. Oh, I'll just undo. So Alt Control Z will shift me back again, and that'll just take me back a bit here to get a better go at this here. So I'm just doing it bit by bit here, and again I'm not going to be too critical. Just picking up those bits of snow that were selected, because they're obviously the same tone that the sky was. Okay, I've got a selection there that I'm quite happy with now, or reasonably happy with, and now I want to go to the select menu and modify that and just feather that selection a little bit. So I'll actually, it's set to 2 pixels there. I'll OK 2 pixels, and that's just going to soften the transition between the selection, so it creates a soft gradient between the selection and the other parts that I'm working on. Now I'll make an inverted selection. So if I go up to the select menu and ask for the inverted selection, then now I've got the part of the image that I want to retain, and now I can very quickly go and create a mask on this. I'll just bring my layers panel up here just so it's clearer what I have to do here. Now this little icon at the bottom here says add a mask, and with the selection already made, if I click on that, then you can see now that the area that was the sky has become a checkerboard kind of pattern, and that's indicating that that's now transparent. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in, the other thing I should point out there is that layer that previously was locked is now unlocked. Next thing I'm going to do is open another image. So I'll go back to Bridge, and in Bridge there's an image of a sky, and so I'll double click on that and open that up. It's a JPEG as well, and it'll open in another tab here. And so I'm going to pull this tab off the dock here so I can move this around a little bit, and I'll just change the size of the window this is in so I can get at this more easily. And what I want to do is drag this layer onto the image of the mountains. So I click on the layer, drag it over here, and now I can close the sky, the new sky image, and I've got this new layer now with the sky sitting on top of the mountains. And how I can tell that is if I switch off the visibility of the sky, you can see underneath there's the mountains. Now, to change the relative positioning of those layers, all I need to do is click on the one layer and drag it so that it will move in the opposite direction to the other one. And you can see here now we've got a nice blue sky with the mountains there. It does look a bit unrealistic because obviously the contrast in each of these images is a lot different, and also the edges here are a bit, I should have maybe got a little bit more of that white there, but still we can fix things later. At this point I'll close this video and we'll open it up again in another video.